The 7-year-old boy walked across the school courtyard, his eyes fixed on a woman he barely knew. Parents were laughing, children were playing, cameras were flashing. It was family day, and everyone was exactly where they belonged. Everyone except him. He stopped in front of her, looked up with eyes that had seen too much loneliness for someone so young, and asked a question that would make the entire courtyard fall silent. "Can I borrow your mom for today?" 5 words. That was all it took. 5 words to freeze a little girl in place, to stop conversations mid-sentence, to change 4 lives forever. But before anyone could answer, before anyone could even breathe, the woman did something unexpected. She looked at her own daughter and said 3 words that somehow hurt even more. "Only if Aminata says it is okay." Seynabou was elbow-deep in lunchboxes when her phone buzzed. 5:30 in the morning, and the world outside her small apartment was still dark. She wiped her hands on her apron and checked the message. School reminder. Family day today. All parents please arrive by 9 a.m. Her stomach dropped. She had completely forgotten. "Mama?" Aminata appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. "Why are you up so early?" "Same as always, my love. Making lunches for the school." Seynabou forced a smile. "Go back to bed. You have 30 more minutes." But Aminata padded into the kitchen anyway, climbing onto the stool by the counter. At 7 years old, she was already too observant for her own good. "Today is family day," Aminata said quietly. "I know. Everyone is bringing both parents." Seynabou's hands stilled over the rice she was packing. This conversation. She had been dreading this conversation. "We will have fun together," Seynabou said, keeping her voice light. "Just you and me, like always." Aminata nodded, but she did not smile. She just watched her mother work, and that somehow felt worse than if she had complained. The truth was, Seynabou had exactly 43,000 won left in her account until next week. The cafe was doing fine, barely, but fine was not comfortable. Fine meant choosing between new shoes for Aminata or fixing the refrigerator that made strange noises at night. Fine meant packing lunches at 5 a.m., because the contract with the international school was the only thing keeping them stable. She loaded the lunchboxes into her delivery van. Aminata already dressed and ready beside her. They did not talk much on the drive to the school. The streets of Seoul were just waking up. Shopkeepers rolling up metal shutters, early commuters rushing toward subway stations. When they arrived at the school, the parking lot was already filling up. Families everywhere, mothers and fathers holding hands with their children, laughing, taking photos by the school gate. Seynabou parked near the delivery entrance and started unloading. Aminata helped without being asked, carrying the smaller boxes. "Miss Nie." One of the teachers waved at her. "You are staying for family day, yes?" "Yes, of course." "Wonderful. We have so many activities planned." Seynabou smiled and nodded, but her mind was already calculating. If she stayed until noon, she would miss the lunch rush prep at the cafe, which meant she would have to prep double tomorrow morning, which meant even less sleep. But Aminata needed this, so she would stay. They dropped off the last of the lunch boxes and walked toward the school courtyard. Decorations hung from every tree, bright banners and colorful streamers. Stations were set up for different activities: face painting, relay races, a cooking tent. Aminata's hand slipped into hers. "It is okay, Mama. We do not have to stay long." That broke her heart more than anything. "We are staying," Seynabou said firmly. "We are going to have the best time." Across the courtyard, a sleek black car pulled up. Late. The driver stepped out first, then opened the back door. A man emerged, phone pressed to his ear. Tall, tired-looking, dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up like he had been working all night. A small boy climbed out after him, holding a backpack that seemed too big for his shoulders. Seynabou recognized them immediately. Kang Ji-hwan and his son, Seo-jun. She saw them almost every afternoon during pickup. Ji-hwan was always late, always on a phone call, always looking somewhere else. But he showed up. That counted for something. Seo-jun spotted Aminata and waved. Aminata waved back, a real smile finally breaking across her face. The 2 children were friends, Seynabou knew. They sat together at lunch sometimes, traded snacks, partnered up for projects. "Can I go say hi?" Aminata asked. Go ahead. Seynabou watched her daughter run over, pigtails bouncing. Seo-jun's whole face lit up when he saw her. Ji-hwan was still on the phone. He barely glanced down. Seynabou felt a familiar twist in her chest. She had seen this before. Wealthy men too busy for their own families. Men who thought money was enough. She turned away and followed the other parents toward the activity stations. The morning started with relay races, parents and children running together, passing batons, laughing when someone tripped or dropped the handoff. Seynabou ran with Aminata, both of them stumbling and giggling, coming in dead last but not caring at all. Then face painting. Aminata wanted butterflies. Seynabou painted wobbly wings on her cheeks, and Aminata insisted on painting a flower on her mother's hand. Beautiful, Seynabou declared, holding up her hand to admire the lopsided petals. You are just saying that. I mean it. You are an artist. By mid-morning, they moved to the cooking tent. Parents and children were supposed to make kimbap together. Seynabou had made kimbap 1,000 times for the cafe, but she let Aminata take the lead, praising every careful placement of vegetables and rice. Around them, families worked in pairs, mothers guiding small hands, fathers sneaking bites of cucumber and getting scolded playfully. And then Seynabou noticed Seo-jun. He was sitting alone at one of the tables, rolling rice too tight, the seaweed tearing. His father was 10 feet away, still on that phone, pacing back and forth. Seynabou's chest tightened. Aminata, she said softly. Does Seo-jun need help? Aminata followed her gaze and frowned. His dad is always like that. That does not make it okay. Before she could think better of it, Seynabou stood and walked over. Seo-jun? She said gently. Do you need a hand? The boy looked up, startled, then embarrassed. I keep ripping it. That is okay. The trick is not to press so hard. Here, let me show you. She sat down beside him, demonstrating with slow, careful movements. See? Gentle. Seo-jun tried again. This time, the seaweed held. I did it, he said, grinning. You did. Keep going. You are doing great. She stayed with him for a few minutes, just long enough to make sure he had the hang of it. When she glanced up, Ji-hwan had finally finished his call. He was watching them, expression unreadable. Seynabou stood quickly. You are all set, she told Seo-jun. Your kimbap looks perfect. Thank you, Miss Nindiae. She returned to Aminata, ignoring the way her heart was beating just a little too fast. She did not know why. She had just helped a child. That was all. But when she sat down, Aminata was giving her a look. What? Seynabou asked. You like helping people? Of course I do. Even when they do not ask. Seynabou laughed, especially then. If you are enjoying this story so far, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you will want to see where this goes. Now let us get back to it. The next activity was family photos. A photographer had set up a backdrop covered in flowers, and families lined up to take pictures together. Seynabou watched the line growing longer, mothers adjusting their children's hair, fathers crouching down to be in frame, everyone smiling. Mama, Aminata said, we do not have to do photos. What? Of course we are doing photos. But everyone else has both parents. Seynabou knelt down so they were eye level. Listen to me. We are a family. You and me. That is enough. Do you understand? Aminata nodded, but her eyes were shiny. They got in line. When it was their turn, Seynabou held Aminata close, both of them smiling for the camera. The photographer was kind, making silly faces to get Aminata to laugh. The photo would be beautiful, Seynabou was sure of it. As they stepped aside, she heard the photographer call out, Next family, please. Seo-jun walked up alone. Ji-hwan was, once again, on the phone a few feet away. The photographer hesitated. Where are your parents, sweetheart? Seo-jun pointed at his father. Ah, okay. Dad, can you come over here, please? Ji-hwan held up one finger. 1 minute. But 1 minute turned into 2, then 3. Seo-jun stood there, waiting. Other families were lining up behind him. The photographer shifted awkwardly. Dad is busy, Seo-jun said finally. I can just go. No, the photographer said quickly. We will wait. But Seynabou could see it. The way Sechun's shoulders slumped. The way his smile had disappeared. Her feet moved before her brain caught up. "Excuse me," she said to the photographer. "Do you mind if I help for a moment?" The photographer looked relieved. "Not at all." Seynabou turned to Seo-jun. "Do you want company for your photo, just until your dad finishes his call?" Seo-jun looked at her, then at Aminata, then back at her. And then he asked the question that would change everything. "Can I borrow your mom for today?" The courtyard went silent. Not literally, of course. People were still talking, children still playing, but in Seynabou's world, everything stopped. She stared at this little boy, this 7-year-old child who had just asked for something so simple and so devastating at the same time. Behind her, she heard Aminata's sharp intake of breath. Seynabou's throat felt tight. She did not know what to say. What was the right answer here? How did she help Seo-jun without hurting her own daughter? She glanced back at Aminata. Her daughter was frozen, hand gripping the strap of her little backpack. Her expression was unreadable, but Seynabou knew that look. That was the look Aminata got when she was trying very hard not to cry. Seynabou's heart split in two. She turned back to Seo-jun. He was waiting, hopeful and terrified all at once. "Only if Aminata says it is okay," Seynabou said softly. Every parent nearby stopped what they were doing. All eyes turned to the little girl standing a few feet away. Aminata did not move. Seconds passed. 5, 10, 15. Seynabou waited. She would not make this decision for her daughter. She could not. Finally, slowly, Aminata nodded. Seynabou let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. "Okay," she said to Seo-jun. "Just for the photo." His whole face lit up. "Really? Really?" He grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the backdrop. The photographer, bless him, did not ask questions. He just smiled and raised his camera. "All right, big smiles." Seynabou stood beside Sechun, one hand resting gently on his shoulder. He beamed at the camera like he had just won the lottery. The flash went off, and that was the moment someone in the crowd took out their phone and snapped a picture. Seynabou did not see it happen. She was too focused on Seo-jun, on making sure he felt seen, even if just for 30 seconds. But that photo, the one taken by a parent in the crowd, would be uploaded to social media within the hour, and by evening, it would be everywhere. After the photo, Seynabou stepped aside. Seo-jun thanked her 3 times, still grinning. Aminata was waiting, arms crossed. "My love," Seynabou started. "It is fine," Aminata said quickly. Too quickly. "Are you sure?" He needed help. "You help people. It is fine." But her voice was small, and she would not look Seynabou in the eye. Before Seynabou could say anything else, Ji-hwan finally appeared. Phone call over, apparently. "Seo-jun," he said. "Sorry about that. Work emergency. Did you get your photo?" "Yes," Seo-jun pointed at Seynabou. "Miss Ndie helped me." Ji-hwan's gaze shifted to her, and for the first time, he really looked at her. Not a glance, not a polite nod. Actually looked. "Thank you," he said. "You did not have to do that." Seynabou shrugged. It was just a photo. "Still, thank you." There was something in his voice, something tired and grateful and maybe a little ashamed. Seynabou did not know how to respond, so she just nodded. An awkward silence stretched between them. Then Aminata tugged on Seynabou's sleeve. "Can we go to the game station now?" "Of course." They walked away, and Seynabou did not look back. She told herself it did not matter. She had helped a child, that was all. In a few hours, family day would be over, and life would go back to normal. She had no idea how wrong she was. The game station turned out to be a 3-legged race, parents tied to their children, hobbling toward a finish line while everyone cheered. Seynabou and Aminata practiced their steps, laughing every time they nearly fell. Left, right, Seynabou chanted. "You are going too fast," Aminata giggled. They lined up with the other pairs. The whistle blew. Chaos. Families stumbled and tripped and collapsed into giggly heaps. Seynabou and Aminata made it halfway before Aminata zigged when Seynabou zagged, and they both went down in a tangle of limbs. They lay there on the grass, laughing so hard Seynabou's stomach hurt. "We are terrible at this," Aminata gasped. "The worst," Seynabou agreed. A shadow fell over them. Seynabou looked up to find Ji-hwan standing there, Seo-jun beside him. "Need a hand?" Ji-hwan asked, extending his palm. Seynabou hesitated, then took it. His grip was firm, steady. He pulled her to her feet, easily. "Thanks," she said. "Are you racing too?" Aminata asked Seo-jun. Seo-jun nodded. "But Dad has a meeting in 20 minutes, so we have to leave soon." "Oh." The disappointment in both children's voices was unmistakable. Ji-hwan's jaw tightened. He glanced at his watch, then at his son, then at the race course. "We can do one race," he said finally. Seo-jun's eyes went wide. "Really? One race, then we have to go." "Okay." They lined up beside Seynabou and Aminata. The fathers and mothers around them were chatting, joking, taking photos. Ji-hwan stood stiffly, like he was not sure what to do with his hands. Seo-jun did not seem to care. He was just happy his dad was there. The whistle blew. Ji-hwan and Seo-jun moved in perfect sync, long strides eating up the distance. They were fast, too fast. Halfway down the course, Seo-jun glanced back at Aminata and Seynabou, who were far behind, still struggling. "Dad, slow down," Seo-jun said. "What? Why?" "So we can stay with them." Ji-hwan looked confused, but he slowed. They hovered near the middle of the pack, Seo-jun waving at Aminata every few steps. Seynabou did not know whether to laugh or cry. They crossed the finish line together, all four of them, somewhere in the middle. No medals, no prizes, just kids being kids. And when it was over, Seo-jun high-fived Aminata like they had just won gold. Ji-hwan checked his watch again. "We really do have to go." "I know," Seo-jun said. "Thanks for racing, Dad." Something flickered across Ji-hwan's face. Regret, maybe. Or guilt. He nodded. "Any time." Liar, Seynabou thought. But she kept her mouth shut. As they walked away, Seo-jun turned back one more time. "Bye, Aminata." "Bye, Miss Ndiaye." "Bye," Aminata called. Seynabou watched them go. Father and son, side by side but somehow still separate. "Mama," Aminata said quietly. "Do you think Seo-jun is sad a lot?" Seynabou crouched down. "Why do you ask?" "Because he always looks happy when other people are around. But sometimes, when he thinks no one is watching, he looks different. Out of the mouths of babes. I think," Seynabou said carefully, "that Seo-jun is very loved. But maybe he is also very lonely. Can you be both?" "Yes, you can." Aminata thought about that. "Then I am glad I let him borrow you." Seynabou pulled her daughter into a tight hug. "You are the kindest person I know. I learned from you." They stayed like that for a moment, just the two of them, while the world buzzed around them. Family day wound down around 11. Parents started packing up, kids sticky with sweets and exhausted from running. Seynabou and Aminata helped the teachers clean up, folding tables and taking down decorations. "Thank you so much for volunteering," one teacher said, "and for helping Seo-jun earlier. That was very kind." It was nothing. It was not nothing to him. Seynabou did not know what to say to that, so she just smiled. By the time they left, it was nearly noon. Seynabou's phone had 4 missed calls from her assistant at the cafe, probably panicking about the lunch prep. "We need to hurry," she told Aminata. They rushed to the van. Seynabou's mind was already running through everything she needed to do. Prep the vegetables, start the soup, check inventory, respond to emails. She was so distracted she did not check her phone, which meant she did not see the notifications. 50, then 100, then 500. All tags, mentions, messages, all about the same photo. The one of her and Seo-jun at the photo booth. By the time she pulled into the cafe parking lot, the picture had been shared 8,000 times. The caption read, "Korea's most eligible bachelor introduces his son to a mystery woman. Wedding bells?" Seynabou had no idea her life was about to turn upside down. She parked, unbuckled Aminata, grabbed her bag. They walked into the cafe through the back entrance. Her assistant, Fatou, was manning the counter, looking frazzled. "Finally," Fatou said. "I did not know if you were coming back. The lunch crowd is about to hit." I am here, sorry." Seynabou tied on her apron and got to work. Muscle memory took over. Chop, sauté, season, plate. The cafe was small, only 12 tables, but it had a loyal customer base. Students from the nearby university, office workers on lunch breaks, a few expats looking for something closer to home. She lost herself in the rhythm. This was her world, her space. The one place where she was completely in control. Aminata sat at the corner table, doing homework. She had her own little setup there, a basket of crayons and books, a cup of juice that Fatou kept refilled. The lunch rush came and went. By 2 p.m., the cafe was quiet again. Fatou wiped down the counter. "So, how was family day?" "It was good." Aminata had fun. "Just good?" Seynabou shrugged. "What else is there to say?" Fatou gave her a look. "Girl, check your phone." "Why?" "Just check it." Frowning, Seynabou pulled out her phone. The screen was full of notifications, social media apps she barely used, messages from numbers she did not recognize. "What is this?" she muttered. She opened the first message. It was a link. She clicked. And there it was, the photo. Her and Seo Jun, smiling at the camera. The headline underneath made her stomach drop. "No," she whispered. "What is it?" Aminata asked, looking up from her homework. "Nothing, baby. Keep working." Seynabou scrolled through the comments. Hundreds of them. Some curious, some cruel, some speculating wildly about who she was, where she came from, whether she was a gold digger or a secret girlfriend. Her hands started shaking. "Fatou, what do I do?" Fatou came around the counter. She read over Seynabou's shoulder and swore under her breath. "Okay. First, do not panic. Too late. Second, do not respond to any of this. It will blow over." "You think so?" "I hope so." But even Fatou did not sound convinced. Seynabou closed the app and shoved her phone into her pocket. She did not have time for this. She had a business to run, a daughter to take care of. Some ridiculous internet rumor was not going to derail her life. Except it already had. Because at 3 p.m., a man in a dark suit walked into the cafe. He looked around, spotted Seynabou, and walked straight to her. "Miss Ndiaye?" he said. "Yes?" He handed her a business card. "My name is Choi Min-suk. I work for Kang Ji-hwan. May I have a moment of your time?" Seynabou stared at the card, then at him. "Why?" "It is about the photo currently circulating online. Mr. Kang would like to speak with you privately." Her heart was racing now. "I did not do anything wrong." "No one is saying you did, but this situation requires careful handling, for everyone's sake." Seynabou's first instinct was to say no, to tell this man to leave her cafe and never come back. But then she thought about the comments, the messages, the strangers who now thought they knew her. "Fine," she said. "When?" "Now, if possible. I am working. It will only take an hour." Seynabou looked at Fatou, who nodded. "I can handle things here. Go." She did not want to, but she also did not see another option. "Let me tell my daughter." She walked over to Aminata, crouched beside her. "I have to step out for a bit. Stay with Auntie Fatou, okay? Where are you going?" "Just a quick meeting. I will be back soon." Aminata frowned. "Is something wrong?" "No, my love. Nothing is wrong." Another lie. She was getting too good at those. The man, Choi, led her to a car parked outside. Black, expensive looking, the kind of car she had only ever seen in dramas. She climbed into the back seat, and they drove in silence. Her mind raced. What did Ji-hwan want? Was he angry? Did he blame her for the photo? 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a building downtown. Tall, glass front, security guards at the entrance. Choi led her inside, through a marble lobby, into an elevator that moved so smoothly she barely felt it. They stopped on the 32nd floor. The doors opened into a sleek office space, minimalist furniture, huge windows overlooking the city. And there, Standing by the window was Ji-hwan. He turned when he heard them enter. "Miss Naye," he said, "thank you for coming." "I did not have much choice." His expression flickered. "You did, and I appreciate it." Choi excused himself, leaving them alone. Seynabou stood there, arms crossed, waiting. Ji-hwan gestured to a chair. "Please, sit. I would rather stand." "All right." He rubbed the back of his neck. He looked tired. More tired than he had this morning. "I assume you have seen the photo," he said. "Hard to miss." "I want to apologize. My team is working to have it taken down, but these things spread quickly. It is a little late for that. I know, and I am sorry. You helped my son, and now you are being dragged into something you did not ask for." Seynabou softened. "Just a fraction. It is not your fault. Someone took the photo. That is not on you. It is, though. My life, my business. It comes with attention. I should have been more careful. You were on a phone call. I made the choice to help." They stood there, two strangers bound together by a single moment. "What happens now?" Seynabou asked. Ji-hwan hesitated. "My PR team wants to release a statement. Clarify that we are not in a relationship, that you were simply helping at a school event." "Fine, do it. There is one problem." "Of course there is. They want you to avoid being seen with me or Seo-jun for a while, just until the attention dies down." Seynabou's stomach twisted. "Seiko-jun and Aminata are friends." "I know. You are asking me to keep my daughter away from her friend because of some stupid photo." "I am not asking. My team is suggesting. There is a difference." There it was. That phrase. She hated that phrase. "No," Seynabou said flatly. "I will not do that." Ji-hwan blinked. "I am sorry? You heard me. I will not tell Aminata she cannot see her friend, because some people on the internet have too much time on their hands. If you want to keep Seo-jun away from us, that is your choice, but I will not make that call." For a long moment, he just stared at her. Then, slowly, he smiled. It was a small smile, barely there, but it was real. "You are right," he said. "That was a ridiculous suggestion." "It was. I will tell my team to find another solution." "Good." Another silence. This one less tense. "Can I ask you something?" Ji-hwan said. "Sure." "Why did you help Seo-jun? You did not know me. You had no reason to get involved." Seynabou thought about it. He looked sad. "I do not like seeing kids sad." "That is it?" "That is it." Ji-hwan nodded slowly. "Thank you, truly. You already said that. I mean it more now." She did not know what to say to that. Choi reappeared in the doorway. "Sir, your next meeting is in 5 minutes." Ji-hwan sighed. "Right. Of course." He looked at Seynabou. "Can I have someone drive you back?" "I can take the subway." "Please. It is the least I can do." She wanted to refuse, but her feet hurt, and the cafe was 40 minutes away by train. "Fine." As Choi led her back to the elevator, Ji-hwan called out, "Miss Ndiaye?" She turned. "If there is any fallout from this, any problems at all, call me. I will handle it." She did not believe him. Men like him always said things like that, but she nodded anyway. The drive back to the cafe was quiet. Seynabou stared out the window, watching the city blur past. Her phone buzzed. Another notification. Another stranger with an opinion. She turned it off. When she finally got back, Aminata ran to her. "Mama, you were gone forever." "I know, baby. I am sorry. Where did you go?" "Just a boring meeting." Aminata did not look convinced, but she did not push. That night, after they closed the cafe, after Aminata was asleep, Seynabou sat at her tiny kitchen table and let herself feel it. The fear, the anger, the exhaustion. She had worked so hard to build this life, to stay invisible, stay safe, stay small. And now, because of one moment of kindness, the whole world was looking at her. She put her head in her hands and tried not to cry. Tomorrow, she would be strong again. But tonight, she let herself break. Just a little. The next morning started with a knock on Seynabou's apartment door. 6 a.m. She was already awake, already dressed, already running through her mental checklist for the day. She opened the door to find a delivery man holding a massive bouquet of flowers. "Ndiaye Seynabou?" he asked. "Yes?" "Sign here." She signed, took the flowers, closed the door. The bouquet was huge, expensive-looking, roses and lilies and things she could not name. There was a card. She opened it. "Please accept my sincere apologies for any inconvenience, Kang Ji-hwan." Seynabou stared at the card for a long moment. Then she walked to the kitchen and shoved the entire bouquet into the trash. Aminata appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Mama, why are there flowers in the garbage?" "Because they were taking up too much space. But they are pretty." "Pretty does not pay rent." Aminata gave her that look again, the one that said she knew her mother was lying but was too polite to say it. They got ready in silence. Breakfast was quick. Rice and eggs, the same as always. Aminata packed her school bag while Seynabou loaded the van. The drive to school felt different today. Seynabou kept checking the rearview mirror, half expecting reporters or cameras, but there was nothing. Just normal traffic, normal people going about their normal lives. Maybe Fatou was right. Maybe it would blow over. They arrived at school drop-off. Seynabou parked, walked Aminata to the gate, and immediately felt the stares. Other mothers whispering behind their hands, fathers glancing her way, then quickly looking away when she made eye contact. Seynabou kept her head up, her expression neutral. She kissed Aminata's forehead. "Have a good day, my love." "You too, Mama." Aminata ran inside, pigtails bouncing. Seynabou turned to leave and nearly crashed into another mother. "Oh, excuse me," the woman said, but she did not move. She just stood there, looking Seynabou up and down. "You are the one from the photo, right?" Seynabou's jaw tightened. "I am just dropping off my daughter. I am not judging. I think it is sweet, actually. A single mother landing a billionaire. Very cinematic." The words were polite, the tone was not. Seynabou forced a smile. "Have a nice day." She walked away before the woman could say anything else. Her hands were shaking by the time she got back to the van. She sat in the driver's seat, gripping the steering wheel, breathing slowly. This was fine. She was fine. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost did not answer. But what if it was the school, or a supplier? "Hello? Is this Seynabou Ndiaye?" A woman's voice, crisp and professional. "Yes. Who is this?" "My name is Park Hae-jin. I am the head of public relations for Kang Corporation. I would like to schedule a meeting with you at your earliest convenience. I already met with Mr. Kang. This is a separate matter. We need to discuss some guidelines moving forward." "Guidelines?" "Yes, regarding your interactions with Mr. Kang and his son, just to ensure everyone is protected." Seynabou felt her temper rising. "I am not interested. Miss Ndiaye, I understand this is overwhelming, but..." "I said no. Do not call me again." She hung up. Her phone immediately rang again. Same number. She blocked it. Then she drove to the cafe, knuckles white on the steering wheel the entire way. Fatou took one look at her face and poured her coffee without asking. "Rough morning?" Fatou asked. "You have no idea. Want to talk about it?" "Not even a little bit." Fatou knew better than to push. She just squeezed Seynabou's shoulder and went back to prepping. The cafe opened at 7. The first customers trickled in. Students grabbing coffee before class, a few regulars who came every morning. Everything was normal, until a woman walked in with a camera. She did not even pretend to be subtle. She ordered a tea, sat down and started taking pictures. Of the cafe, of Seynabou, of everything. Seynabou walked over. "Excuse me, no photos, please." The woman looked up, surprised. "It is a public space. It is a private business, and I am asking you to stop. I am just taking pictures of the decor. It is cute. You are pointing the camera at me." The woman smiled, sweet as poison. "Am I? I did not notice." Seynabou wanted to grab the camera and throw it out the window, but she did not. She just stood there, waiting. Finally, the woman sighed and put the camera away. "Fine, no photos." She left 10 minutes later without finishing her tea. Fatou came up beside Seynabou. "This is getting out of hand. It will pass. And if it does not?" Seynabou did not have an answer for that. Lunchtime came. The cafe filled up. Seynabou worked the kitchen while Fatou handled the counter. It was busy, chaotic, exactly the kind of distraction she needed. Then her phone rang again. Different number this time. She almost ignored it, but something made her answer. Hello? Miss Niai? A man's voice. Familiar. Yes? This is Choi Min-suk. We met yesterday. I remember. Mr. Kang would like to apologize for the call you received this morning. The PR team acted without his knowledge. Okay. He has asked me to extend an invitation. He would like to meet with you and your daughter this weekend, along with his son, as a proper thank you. Seynabou paused, spatula in hand. A thank you for what? For your kindness at Family Day, and for your discretion regarding the media attention. I have not been discreet. I have been ignoring them. Exactly, and Mr. Kang appreciates that. She did not know what to say. Part of her wanted to refuse, to keep her distance from this man and his complicated life. But then she thought about Seo-jun and Aminata, and how happy her daughter had been at Family Day. Where? She asked. Wherever you are comfortable. A park, perhaps? Something casual. There is a park near the Han River, Yoedo. Do you know it? I do. Saturday, 2 p.m. And Mr. Choi? Yes? Tell Mr. Kang this is not a date. This is two parents letting their children play. That is all. She could hear the smile in his voice. Understood. Seynabou hung up and went back to cooking. Fatou was grinning at her. What was that about? Nothing. Did you just agree to meet the billionaire at a park? I agreed to let Aminata play with her friend. Sure. Keep telling yourself that. Seynabou threw a dish towel at her. Saturday arrived faster than she expected. Seynabou changed her outfit 3 times before settling on jeans and a simple blouse. Nothing fancy, nothing that looked like she was trying too hard. Aminata, on the other hand, was vibrating with excitement. We are really going to play with Seo-jun, she asked for the 5th time. Yes, baby. At the park? Yes. Can we get ice cream? Maybe. That means yes. Seynabou laughed despite herself. It was impossible to stay stressed when Aminata was this happy. They took the subway to Yoedo. The park was busy, families everywhere, couples on bikes, elderly people doing Tai Chi, children running through the grass. Seynabou spotted Ji-hwan immediately. He was standing under a tree, hands in his pockets, looking almost nervous. Seo-jun saw them first. Aminata. He ran over, and the 2 children hugged like they had been separated for years instead of days. Ji-hwan walked over more slowly. Miss Ndiaye, thank you for coming. Seynabou is fine. Then call me Ji-hwan. She nodded. An awkward silence stretched between them. The children had already run off toward the playground, completely oblivious. Should we follow them? Ji-hwan asked. Probably a good idea. They walked side by side, keeping a careful distance. Not too close, not too far. I am sorry about the PR team, Ji-hwan said. They were out of line. You already apologized through Mr. Choi. I wanted to say it in person. Okay, apology accepted. Another silence. This is weird, right? Ji-hwan said suddenly. Seynabou blinked. What? This, us, pretending this is normal. Despite herself, she laughed. Very weird. He smiled, a real smile this time, not the polite one from before. I have not done this in a long time. Done what? Talk to another parent. Outside of school functions, I mean. Most people either want something from me or are afraid of me. Which one am I? Neither. I think that is why I am so bad at this. Seynabou looked at him properly for the first time. He was handsome, she could admit that. But he also looked exhausted, like he had not slept well in years. You are not that bad at it, she said. Liar. She laughed again. They reached the playground. Seo-jun and Aminata were already on the swings, pumping their legs, trying to see who could go higher. Be careful, Seynabou called. We are fine, Aminata yelled back. Ji-hwan and Seynabou sat on a bench nearby, close enough to watch, far enough to give the kids space. She seems happy, Ji-hwan said. She is. Seo-jun is a good friend to her. He talks about her all the time. Aminata this, Aminata that. I think she is his first real friend. What do you mean, real friend? Ji-hwan hesitated. Most of the kids at that school, their parents are wealthy, connected. They set up playdates like business meetings. Everything is strategic. But with Aminata, it is different. He just likes her. No agenda. Seynabou's heart twisted. That is sad. It is what it is. It does not have to be. He looked at her. What would you do differently? I would let him be a kid. Let him make friends without worrying about who their parents are or what they can offer. Let him mess up, get dirty, come home with scraped knees and big stories. He has never come home with a scraped knee. Exactly. Ji-hwan was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, You are right, but I do not know how to do that. I do not know how to be the kind of father you are describing. You are here, are you not? On a Saturday. No meetings, no phone calls. That is a start. My assistant almost had a heart attack when I cleared my schedule. Seynabou smiled. Good. Let them panic. Your son is more important. From the playground, Seo-jun shouted, Dad! Watch this! He jumped off the swing mid-arc, landed hard, stumbled, but stayed upright. His face was pure pride. I saw, Ji-hwan called back. That was great. Seo-jun beamed. Aminata tried the same jump, landed, and immediately fell on her bottom. She laughed, brushing dirt off her pants. Seynabou shook her head, grinning. She is going to feel that tomorrow. Should we stop them? Absolutely not. This is the fun part. They sat in comfortable silence after that, watching the children play. It was strange, Seynabou thought, how quickly this had started to feel normal. After a while, Ji-hwan said, Can I ask you something personal? You can ask. I might not answer. Fair. Why did you come to Korea? Seynabou considered lying, giving some simple, easy answer, but something about the way he asked, genuine and curious, made her tell the truth. I got a scholarship, hospitality management. It was a good program, and I wanted to see the world, so I came. And you stayed. I stayed. Why? She looked at Aminata, laughing with Seo-jun, covered in dirt and joy, because I had a reason to. Ji-hwan did not ask for details. He just nodded. I am glad you did. Before Seynabou could respond, both children came running over. We are hungry, Seo-jun announced. Starving, Aminata agreed. Ji-hwan stood. There is a good restaurant nearby. My treat. You do not have to do that, Seynabou said. I know, but I want to. The restaurant was small, family-run, the kind of place that did not care if you were a billionaire or a student. They served jjajangmyeon and tangsuyuk, and the kids devoured everything. Seynabou and Ji-hwan ate slower, talking between bites. He told her about Seo-jun's obsession with dinosaurs. She told him about Aminata's terrible singing voice that she insisted on sharing with everyone. They laughed, a lot. It was easy, too easy, and that scared Seynabou more than anything. When the meal was over, Ji-hwan paid despite her protests. They walked back to the subway together, the kids running ahead. Thank you for today, Ji-hwan said. Thank you for inviting us. Can we do this again? Seynabou hesitated. Every instinct told her to say no, to keep her distance, to protect herself and Aminata from getting too close. But then Aminata looked back at her, eyes shining, happier than she had been in months. Yes, Seynabou said, we can do this again. Ji-hwan smiled. They exchanged phone numbers, just for coordinating playdates, they told themselves. On the subway ride home, Aminata was still buzzing. Mama, that was the best day ever. I am glad, baby. Can we see them again next week? Maybe. Seo-jun said his dad never takes Saturdays off, but he did today, because of us. Seynabou's chest tightened. That was nice of him. Do you like Mr. Kang? The question caught her off guard. What? Do you like him? He seems nice. He is nice. But do you like him? Aminata, we just met him properly today. But you smiled a lot. You do not smile that much with other grown-ups. Seynabou did not know what to say to that. Aminata yawned, leaning against her mother's shoulder. I hope we see them again soon. Me too, Seynabou whispered. And she meant it. That night, after Aminata was asleep, Seynabou's phone buzzed. A message from Ji-hwan. Seo-jun has not stopped talking about today. Thank you again. She stared at the message for a long time before typing back. Aminata either. Let us plan another playdate soon. His response came immediately. I would like that. Seynabou put her phone down and tried to ignore the fluttering in her stomach. This was just for the kids, she reminded herself. Just for the kids. The next week passed in a blur. School drop-offs, cafe shifts, late nights prepping for the next day. Seynabou barely had time to think about Ji-hwan, or the park, or the way he had smiled when Seo-jun showed off his swing jump. But Aminata had not forgotten. Every day, she asked the same question. When are we seeing Seo-jun again? And every day, Seynabou gave the same answer. Soon. Finally, on Thursday, her phone buzzed. Ji-hwan, are you free this Saturday? Seynabou Jun wants to teach Aminata about dinosaurs. Apparently, it is very important. Seynabou smiled at her phone. Seynabou, Aminata would love that. Where? Ji-hwan, Natural History Museum? Unless that is too boring. Seynabou, perfect. And just like that, it was a date. Not a date, she corrected herself. A play date. For the children. If you are still watching, drop a comment and let me know what you think is going to happen next. I read every single one. Now back to the story. Saturday morning, Aminata woke up before her alarm. Museum day, she shouted, jumping on Seynabou's bed. It is 6 in the morning, Seynabou groaned. But we have to get ready. We have 4 hours. That is barely enough time. Seynabou laughed, pulling her daughter into a hug. What am I going to do with you? Love me forever? Deal. They arrived at the museum at exactly 10 a.m. Ji-hwan and Seo-jun were already there, waiting by the entrance. Seo-jun had a backpack full of dinosaur books and a notebook for taking notes. I brought pictures, he told Aminata seriously. So you can learn the difference between a Brachiosaurus and a Brontosaurus. They are different? Aminata asked. Very different. Come on, I will show you. The kids ran inside, leaving the adults to follow. He prepared a presentation, Ji-hwan said, sounding both proud and amused. Of course he did, Seynabou said. Aminata is going to pretend to understand and then ask me a million questions later. They bought tickets and went inside. The museum was massive. Fossils and skeletons and interactive displays everywhere. Seo-jun led the way like a tiny tour guide, pointing out every exhibit, reciting facts from memory. Aminata listened with wide eyes, asking questions, genuinely engaged. Seynabou and Ji-hwan trailed behind, content to let the children lead. He is really into this, Seynabou said. Obsessed. Last month it was space. Next month it will probably be ocean creatures. Does he get that from you? No. His mother. She was curious about everything. Always learning, always reading. Past tense, was. Seynabou did not push. They stopped in front of a massive T-Rex skeleton. Seo-jun was explaining something about bone density. Aminata was nodding along, completely lost but trying her best. They are good together, Ji-hwan said quietly. They are. Seo-jun does not have many friends. I worry about that. Aminata does not either. Moving to a new country, looking different from everyone else, it is hard. Ji-hwan glanced at her. Do people give you trouble? Because you are from Senegal? Sometimes. Mostly they are just curious, but curious can feel a lot like judgment. I am sorry. Do not be. We are okay. They moved to the next exhibit, Ancient Marine Life. Seynabou found a display about mosasaurs and gasped like he had found treasure. Ji-hwan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, and silenced it. It buzzed again, and again. Do you need to take that? Seynabou asked. No, it can wait. Are you sure? He looked at her, then at Seo-jun. Yes, I am sure. His phone buzzed 3 more times before he finally turned it off completely. Seynabou did not comment, but she noticed. After the museum, they went to a small cafe nearby. The kids ordered hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. The adults ordered coffee, and tried not to think about how domestic this all felt. "Thank you for today," Seynabou said. "Aminata is going to sleep well tonight." Seynabou too. He used up all his energy explaining paleontology. Does he want to be a scientist when he grows up? This week, yes. Last week, he wanted to be an astronaut. Next week, who knows? Aminata wants to be a chef. "Like me," she says. "But better." Ji-hwan laughed. "Better?" Her words, not mine. "I am sure you are a great chef. I am a decent cook. There is a difference." They sipped their coffee in comfortable silence. Then Seynabou said, "Dad, can Aminata come over to our house sometime?" Ji-hwan froze. "What?" "I want to show her my dinosaur collection, and my room, and the garden." Aminata perked up. "You have a garden?" "It is huge, with a pond and fish and everything." The kids started chattering excitedly, making plans. Seynabou and Ji-hwan exchanged glances. "You do not have to," Seynabou said quietly. "I know. But if you are comfortable with it, I do not mind. Your home is your private space. I do not want to intrude." "You would not be intruding. Honestly, it would be nice to have people over. The house is too quiet most of the time." Seynabou considered. "Okay, but only if you let me bring food. I do not cook in other people's kitchens, but I can bring a meal." "Deal." And just like that, the next step was planned. The following Saturday, Seynabou and Aminata took a taxi to Ji-hwan's address. The house was in Sungbuk-dong, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Seoul. The taxi driver gave Seynabou a curious look when they pulled up to the gate. "You sure this is the right place?" he asked. "I hope so." She paid, grabbed the insulated bag full of food, and walked to the intercom. Before she could press the button, the gate opened. Ji-hwan was standing there, Seynabou bouncing beside him. "You came!" Seynabou shouted. "We did," Aminata said, matching his energy. Ji-hwan smiled at Seynabou. "Welcome." She followed him up the path. The house was beautiful. Traditional Korean architecture mixed with modern design. A garden that looked like something out of a painting. Koi pond, stone paths, carefully trimmed trees. "This is where you live?" Aminata whispered, eyes wide. "It is too big," Seynabou said matter-of-factly. "But the garden is cool. Come on, I will show you." The kids ran off. Seynabou stood there, suddenly very aware that she was holding homemade kimchi jjigae in a borrowed pot. "Come inside," Ji-hwan said gently. "Please." The inside was just as beautiful. Clean lines, wooden floors, art on the walls. But it felt empty, like a house, not a home. "Your place is lovely," Seynabou said. "It is too much. I keep meaning to downsize, but I never find the time." "That seems to be a theme with you." He laughed. "You are not wrong." She set the food down in the kitchen. Ji-hwan helped her unpack, setting the table, finding bowls and chopsticks. It felt strangely intimate, working side by side in his kitchen. "This smells amazing," he said. "Wait until you taste it." They called the kids in. Dinner was loud and chaotic and perfect. Seynabou ate 3 bowls. Aminata tried to keep up but gave up after 2. "This is the best thing I have ever eaten," Seynabou declared. "Better than the restaurant last week?" Ji-hwan teased. "Way better, no offense to that restaurant." Seynabou laughed. "I am glad you like it." After dinner, the kids went back to the garden. Seynabou and Ji-hwan cleaned up together. "You did not have to cook," he said. "I wanted to. Besides, you paid for the museum and the cafe. It is only fair. I do not think fairness is about keeping score. Maybe not, but it makes me feel better." He dried the last dish and turned to face her. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why do you not like accepting help?" The question caught her off guard. "What do you mean? Every time I offer something, you hesitate, like you are waiting for the catch." Seynabou put down the towel she was holding. "Because there is always a catch." "Not always. In my experience, always." Ji-hwan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Someone hurt you." It was not a question. "Yes," Seynabou said simply. "Someone did." I am sorry. Do not be. It taught me to be careful. Careful is good, but so is trusting people. Easy for you to say. Is it? He leaned against the counter. I have not trusted anyone in 4 years. Not really. My wife died, and I built walls so high I forgot what it felt like to let someone in. Seynabou looked at him, really looked at him, and she saw it. The loneliness, the exhaustion, the fear. So why are you letting me in? She asked quietly. Because Seo-jun is happy, and I forgot what that looked like. Her heart did something complicated in her chest. Before she could respond, the kids burst back inside. Mama, you have to see the pond, Aminata said, grabbing her hand. Okay, I am coming. She let herself be dragged outside, grateful for the interruption. But as she stood by the pond, watching the koi swim in lazy circles, she could feel Ji-hwan's eyes on her. And for the first time in years, she did not mind. The weeks that followed fell into a rhythm. Saturdays became their day. Sometimes the museum, sometimes the park, sometimes just Ji-hwan's house, where the kids could run wild in the garden. Seynabou told herself it was just for Aminata, just so her daughter could have a friend, could experience the childhood she deserved. But somewhere along the way, she stopped lying to herself. She looked forward to Saturdays, to Ji-hwan's quiet humor, his terrible jokes that made her laugh despite herself. The way he listened when she talked, really listened, like her words mattered. It had been so long since anyone made her feel seen. One Saturday afternoon, they were sitting on Ji-hwan's back porch while the kids played in the garden. The weather was perfect, warm but not hot, a light breeze carrying the smell of flowers. I have a confession, Ji-hwan said. Seynabou looked up from her tea. Should I be worried? Maybe. I told my assistant to block off every Saturday for the next 2 months. Why? Because I do not want to miss this. Any of this. Her heart did that complicated thing again. Ji-hwan. I know we are just doing this for the kids, but I have not felt this normal in years, and I do not want to lose it. Seynabou did not know what to say, because she felt it too, this strange, fragile thing growing between them. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Unknown number. Again. She had been getting a lot of those lately. She ignored it. It rang again immediately. You should probably answer that, Ji-hwan said. Sighing, she picked up. Hello? Is this Seynabou Niai? A woman's voice, formal and cold. Yes. Who is asking? My name is Han Mi-young. I am calling on behalf of the Korean Immigration Office. We need to discuss your visa status. Seynabou's blood went cold. My visa is valid until next year. There has been an issue flagged in our system. Your previous employer filed incorrect documentation regarding your work sponsorship. We need you to come in for an interview. What kind of issue? That will be discussed during the interview. Can you come in next Tuesday at 10 a.m.? Yes. I can do that. Bring all your original documents, passport, visa, employment records, everything. The woman hung up without saying goodbye. Seynabou sat there, phone still pressed to her ear, feeling like the ground had just opened up beneath her. What is wrong? Ji-hwan asked. Nothing, just immigration stuff. Probably just paperwork. Seynabou. She looked at him. What is wrong? He asked again, gentler this time. They said there is an issue with my visa. Something about my old employer filing incorrect documents. Which employer? The hotel I worked at when I first came to Korea, before I opened the cafe. What kind of incorrect documents? I do not know. They want me to come in for an interview. Ji-hwan was already pulling out his phone. I know a good immigration lawyer. Let me call. No. Seynabou stood up. No, I will handle it. At least let me give you his number. Ji-hwan, I appreciate it, but I can handle my own problems. I know you can, but you do not have to. Yes, I do. The words came out sharper than she meant them to. Ji-hwan pulled back slightly, and she immediately felt guilty. I am sorry, she said. I need to do this myself. Please understand. He nodded slowly. Okay, but if you need help, I will ask. I promise. She would not ask. They both knew it. Aminata came running up, covered in dirt and laughing. "Mama, look! Seo-jun taught me how to catch frogs." Seynabou forced a smile. "That is wonderful, baby." But inside, she was already spiraling. That night, after Aminata was asleep, Seynabou sat at her kitchen table surrounded by papers. Visa documents, old contracts, bank statements, everything she could find. She had come to Korea 6 years ago on a student visa, switched to a work visa when the hotel hired her, then to a business visa when she opened the cafe. Everything had been legal, everything had been filed correctly. Or so she thought. She found the old hotel contract buried in a folder, read through it 3 times, and there it was. A clause she had never noticed. Something about sponsorship requirements that did not match what had actually been filed. Her hands started shaking. If immigration decided her work visa had been invalid, that meant everything after could be called into question, including her current business visa, which meant she could be deported, which meant Aminata would be uprooted again, forced to leave the only home she really remembered. Seynabou put her head in her hands and tried not to panic. Tuesday came too fast. Seynabou dressed in her most professional outfit, gathered every document she owned, and took the subway to the immigration office. The building was gray and imposing. She waited in a sterile room with flickering fluorescent lights for 2 hours before her name was called. The interview was worse than she imagined. They questioned everything: her employment history, her finances, her reasons for staying in Korea. The officer was polite but cold, flipping through her documents like he was looking for a reason to say no. "Your previous employer made several errors in your sponsorship paperwork," he said. "This calls into question the validity of your subsequent visa applications." "But I filed everything correctly," Seynabou said. "I followed every rule." "Unfortunately, if the foundation of your initial work visa was flawed, everything after is potentially compromised." "So what does that mean?" "It means we need to review your case. The process can take up to 60 days. During that time, your current visa remains valid, but if we determine the errors are substantial, you may be required to leave the country and reapply from Senegal." 60 days, 2 months, and then what? Packing up her entire life, taking Aminata away from her school, her friends, everything she knew? "Is there anything I can do?" Seynabou asked. "Hire a lawyer, gather evidence that you acted in good faith. But I will be honest with you, Miss Ndiaye. These cases rarely end in the applicant's favor." She left the building feeling numb. On the subway ride home, she stared at her reflection in the dark window and tried to figure out what to tell Aminata. "Hey, baby, remember how I said Korea was our home? Well, funny story. She did not tell anyone. Not Fatu, not Ji-hwan, not even Aminata. She just kept working, kept smiling, kept pretending everything was fine. But Aminata knew something was wrong. She was too perceptive not to notice. "Mama," she said one night at dinner, "are you sad?" "No, baby, just tired." "You are always tired lately. Running a cafe is hard work. Is it because of the visa people?" Seynabou's fork clattered against her plate. "What?" "I heard you on the phone last week. You said something about immigration. There was no point in lying. Yes, there is a problem with our visa, but I am handling it." "Are we going to have to leave?" The fear in Aminata's voice broke her heart. "I do not know yet," Seynabou said honestly, "but I am going to fight as hard as I can to stay. Okay?" Aminata nodded, but her eyes were glassy. That night, Seynabou heard her daughter crying through the bedroom door. The next Saturday, Seynabou almost canceled. She did not have the energy to pretend everything was fine, but Aminata had been so withdrawn all week, and she knew seeing Seo-jun would help. So they went. Ji-hwan knew something was wrong the moment he saw her. "You look exhausted," he said. "Thank you. Every woman loves to hear that." "I did not mean it like that. I meant, are you okay?" "I am fine." "Seynabou." "I said, I am fine." The kids ran off to play. Seynabou and Ji-hwan sat on the porch in tense silence. Finally, Ji-hwan said, "The visa issue. It is serious, is it not?" "I told you I would handle it." "That is not what I asked." Seynabou closed her eyes. She was so tired of carrying this alone. They might deport me. I have 60 days to prove I deserve to stay, but the officer basically said I do not have a chance. Ji-hwan went very still. When did you find out? Last week. And you did not tell me. Why would I? We barely know each other. That is not true. Is it not? We have been doing this for what, 6 weeks? That does not mean you are responsible for my problems. I care about you. And Aminata. That makes it my problem too. No, it does not. Stop pushing me away. Stop trying to fix things you cannot fix. The words echoed between them. From the garden, the kids stopped playing, looking over with worried faces. Seynabou stood up. I should go. Seynabou, wait. Thank you for today, but I need some space. She called for Aminata, who came reluctantly. Seynabou looked confused and hurt. As they left, Seynabou did not look back. If she had, she would have seen Ji-hwan standing on the porch, looking more lost than he had in years. In the taxi, Aminata was silent. I am sorry, Seynabou said quietly. For what? For everything. For uprooting your life. For bringing you here. For maybe having to take you away again. Mama, I do not care where we live, as long as we are together. Seynabou pulled her daughter close and tried not to cry. A week passed. Then 2. Seynabou and Ji-hwan did not speak. The kids still saw each other at school, but the Saturday playdates stopped. Aminata became quieter, sadder. Seynabou threw herself into work, trying to save enough money in case they had to leave, trying to prepare for a future she did not want. Her lawyer, the one she finally hired after draining most of her savings, was not optimistic. The case is complicated, he said. Your employer clearly made errors, but proving you had no knowledge of those errors is difficult. So what do I do? Hope and prepare for the worst. Great advice, very helpful. 3 weeks into the 60-day window, Seynabou was closing up the cafe when someone knocked on the door. She turned to say they were closed and found Ji-hwan standing there. She unlocked the door. What are you doing here? We need to talk. I do not think that is a good idea. Please. Something in his voice made her step aside. He came in, and she locked the door behind him. They stood in the empty cafe, surrounded by chairs stacked on tables. I spoke to my lawyer, Ji-hwan said, about your case. I told you not to get involved. I know. I did it anyway. And he found something. Seynabou's heart skipped. What? The hotel that employed you. They have a history of filing incorrect visa documents. Multiple employees have had similar issues. There is a pattern of negligence. How does that help me? Because it proves you were not at fault. You were a victim of their incompetence. But the immigration officer said, immigration officers are not lawyers. With the right evidence, with the right argument, you have a real chance. Seynabou felt tears pricking her eyes. Why are you doing this? Because I care about you, both of you, and because I am tired of being afraid. Afraid of what? Of feeling something again. I loved my wife. When she died, I thought that was it. I would never let anyone in again. It was safer that way. But then you and Aminata came into my life, and suddenly, I remembered what it felt like to be alive. Ji-hwan, I am not asking you to love me back. I am just asking you to let me help. Please. Seynabou was crying now, full-on crying, and she did not care. Okay, she whispered. Okay. He stepped forward and pulled her into a hug. She melted into it, letting herself be held for the first time in forever. They stayed like that for a long time. With Ji-hwan's lawyer on the case, things moved faster. Evidence was gathered, testimonies from other affected employees, documentation proving the hotel's negligence. Seynabou still had to wait out the 60 days, but for the first time she had hope. Ji-hwan was careful not to overstep. He let her handle things, only offering advice when she asked, but he was there, present, supportive. The Saturday playdates resumed. Aminata was ecstatic. Seo-jun was too. And slowly, carefully, Seynabou let her guard down. One evening, after the kids were asleep at Ji-hwan's house, he had insisted they stay for a movie. They sat in his living room drinking tea. Can I ask you something? Seynabou said. Always. What was she like? Your wife. Ji-hwan smiled, sad but genuine. She was brilliant, funny, terrible at cooking but refused to admit it. She loved reading, gardening, learning new things, and she loved Seo-jun more than anything. She sounds wonderful. She was, and she would have liked you. You think so? I know so. She always said I needed someone who would call me out when I was being an idiot. You do that. Seynabou laughed. You make it easy. They sat in comfortable silence. Then Ji-hwan said, I got an invitation today. A charity gala. It is in 2 weeks. That is nice. My mother will be there. Oh? She wants me to bring a date. Someone she has already chosen. Seynabou's stomach dropped. What do you mean, chosen? An arranged match. The daughter of another CEO. My mother has been planning it for months. Are you going to go? I have to. It is for my company. But I do not want to meet her. This woman my mother picked. Then do not. It is not that simple. Why not? Ji-hwan ran a hand through his hair. Because my mother controls a significant portion of the company board. If I refuse, there will be consequences. So you are just going to do what she says? I did not say that. Then what are you saying? He looked at her. I am saying I want you to come with me. Seynabou almost laughed. You want me to crash your arranged date? I want you to be my date. I want to walk in there with you and make it clear that I am not interested in my mother's plans. Ji-hwan, that is insane. Probably. Your mother will hate me. She will get over it. The media will have a field day. Let them. Seynabou shook her head. I cannot believe you are serious. I am completely serious. But only if you want to. I will understand if you say no. She should say no. Every logical part of her brain was screaming to say no. But then she thought about Ji-hwan, standing up to his mother, choosing his own path, choosing her. Okay, she said. I will go. His whole face lit up. Really? Really. But if your mother throws champagne at me, you are paying for my dress. He laughed. Deal. If you have made it this far, thank you for sticking with this story. Make sure you are subscribed because you will not want to miss how this ends. Trust me. Now let us finish this. The gala was at one of Seoul's fanciest hotels. Seynabou had never been anywhere like it. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, people dressed like they had walked out of magazines. She felt completely out of place. Ji-hwan picked her up at 7. When she opened the door, his expression made every second of stress over finding a dress worth it. You look beautiful, he said. You clean up okay too. The gala was already in full swing when they arrived. Hundreds of people, all important, all watching. Ji-hwan offered his arm. Ready? Not even a little bit. Me neither. Let us do it anyway. They walked in together. The stares started immediately. Whispers, phones being pulled out. Seynabou kept her head high, her hand on Ji-hwan's arm. They made it halfway across the room before a woman intercepted them. She was elegant, 50s, with eyes like steel. Ji-hwan's mother. Ji-hwan, she said, her voice cold. I was not expecting you to bring a guest. Mother, this is Seynabou Ni-ai, Seynabou, my mother. Seynabou extended her hand. It is nice to meet you. Ji-hwan's mother looked at her hand like it was diseased. I see. She turned to her son. We need to talk, privately. Anything you need to say, you can say in front of Seynabou. I do not think that is wise. Then we have nothing to discuss. His mother's eyes narrowed. You are making a mistake. I am making a choice. There is a difference. The tension was suffocating. People nearby had stopped even pretending not to listen. Finally, Ji-hwan's mother said, The woman I arranged for you to meet is here. She is expecting an introduction. Then she will be disappointed. Ji-hwan, I am not interested, mother. I have not been interested from the beginning. You just refuse to listen. This is not about interest. This is about legacy, about the company. The company will be fine. Will it? The board is already questioning your judgment. This will only make things worse. Let them question. I am done living my life according to their expectations. His mother looked at Seynabou with pure venom. This is because of her, is it not? You are throwing away everything for a woman you barely know. I know her better than I have known anyone in years. And she has shown me what actually matters. Money matters. Power matters. No, mother. And people matter. Love matters. And I am sorry you forgot that. His mother went pale. For a moment, she looked genuinely hurt. Then the mask slammed back down. If you go through with this, there will be consequences. I understand. She walked away without another word. Seynabou let out a breath she had been holding. That went well. I am sorry. Do not be. You were amazing. He smiled. I have been wanting to say that to her for 4 years. The rest of the evening was a blur. They danced, they talked to other guests, they pretended not to notice the stares and whispers. And then, during a lull in the music, Ji-hwan pulled Seynabou aside. There is something I need to tell you, he said. Should I be worried? The immigration decision. It came through this afternoon. Her heart stopped. And? You won. The lawyer got the case dismissed. Your visa is safe. Seynabou could not breathe. What? You can stay. You and Aminata. You do not have to leave. She burst into tears right there in the middle of the gala. Ji-hwan held her while she sobbed, not caring who saw. I thought I lost everything, she whispered. You did not. You will never have to. When she finally pulled back, her makeup was ruined and she did not care. Thank you, she said, for everything. You did the work. I just helped. Still, thank you. He wiped a tear from her cheek. Can I tell you something else? Yes. I am falling in love with you. Her heart did that complicated thing again. Except this time, it was not complicated at all. I am falling in love with you too, she said. He kissed her. Soft and gentle and perfect. Around them, camera flashes went off. People gasped. His mother probably fainted. But Seynabou did not care. She was done hiding, done being afraid. She was finally, truly home. 6 months later, the cafe had expanded. Ji-hwan invested as a silent partner. Seynabou kept full control. The place was thriving, busier than ever. Aminata and Sejun were inseparable. At school, at home, everywhere. They fought like siblings and loved like siblings. And Seynabou and Ji-hwan, they took it slow. Dates, family dinners, building something real. His mother eventually came around. Mostly. She still made passive-aggressive comments, but she showed up for Sunday dinners. That was progress. 1 year after that first family day, the school hosted another one. Seynabou and Ji-hwan arrived together, officially together. The kids running ahead, already planning which activities to do first. The photographer called out, "Parents together, please!" The 4 of them gathered in front of the backdrop. A real family. Chosen, not born. As the photographer adjusted his camera, Seo-jun leaned over to Aminata. "Good thing I only borrowed your mom for 1 day," he whispered. Aminata grinned. "She is our mom now. Does that make us brother and sister?" "I guess so." "Cool." The flash went off. That photo ended up on Seynabou's cafe wall, right next to her business license and a framed quote Ji-hwan had given her. It read, "Family is who shows up." And they showed up. Every single day. Seynabou locked up the cafe one evening. Aminata helping pack up the last of the dishes. Ji-hwan was picking them up for dinner at his place. Their place now, really. She and Aminata had moved in 3 months ago. It still felt surreal sometimes. Her life. How different it was from a year ago. A year ago, she had been alone, terrified, barely holding on. Now, she had a partner, a family, a future. Her phone buzzed. Ji-hwan, running 5 minutes late. Seo-jun is making you a surprise. Seynabou, should I be worried? Ji-hwan, probably. He used a lot of glitter. She laughed. Aminata looked up. What is so funny? Your brother made us something with glitter. We are going to find glitter everywhere for weeks. Probably. They locked up and waited outside. The evening air was warm, Seoul bustling around them. Mama? Aminata said. Yes, baby. Are you happy? Seynabou looked at her daughter. This brave, beautiful girl who had been through so much. I am, she said. Are you? Yes, I like having a family. Me too. Ji-hwan's car pulled up. Seo-jun waved frantically from the back seat, holding something covered in sparkles. Seynabou and Aminata climbed in. The car smelled like home, like family. As they drove through the city, Seynabou looked out the window and thought about that first family day, about a little boy asking to borrow her for just one day. One day had turned into forever, and she would not change a single thing. Years later, when people asked Seynabou how she met Ji-hwan, she always told them the same story. About a school event, a lonely boy, a simple question. Can I borrow your mom for today? Some people thought it was sweet, others thought it was too convenient, too perfect. But Seynabou knew the truth. The best things in life are not perfect. They are messy and complicated and scary. But they are worth it. Every single time. The cafe continued to grow. A second location opened, then a third. Seynabou hired other immigrants, gave them the same chance she had been given. Ji-hwan scaled back his work hours, started coaching Seo-jun's soccer team, learned to cook, though he was still terrible at it. Aminata and Seo-jun grew up together. Best friends, then siblings, then the kind of family that chooses each other every day. And on every family day, the four of them showed up together. Sometimes Ji-hwan's mother came too. She never fully warmed to Seynabou, but she loved her grandchildren. That was enough. It was ordinary, simple, perfect. Seynabou had spent so many years searching for extraordinary, for something big and dramatic and life-changing. But she had learned something important. The extraordinary is not found in grand gestures or perfect moments. It is found in the everyday, in Saturday mornings and family dinners and goodnight kisses. It is found in showing up, in staying, in loving someone enough to let them borrow your heart. And maybe, if you are really lucky, they never give it back. If this story touched your heart, do not forget to subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, family is not about blood. It is about who shows up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of this family. Now go out there and say yes to your own adventure. You never know where one day might take you.